Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's up, fellas? What's going on, my people? Happy holidays to you. Trust everybody had a great weekend. Uh, those of you who are worshipers, this was a great weekend for worship and to celebrate, the great things that God has done in Jesus Christ. And we worship Him and we celebrate Him today. We are not ashamed of the gospel. And this weekend was a weekend for us to celebrate the good news. That's what celebrating the resurrection. I don't use the word Easter. I talk about the resurrection of the Lord. Jesus Christ is everything. If we don't have that, we don't have anything. And I just want y'all to know this morning that I am still on a high celebrating the gospel of Jesus Christ. Anyway, good morning to you all. I trust everybody's well. I want to go ahead and jump in to help you to win in what matters, but I would be remiss. I'm Dr. Myron Edmonds. Trust everybody's well. I'd just be remiss if I just didn't tell y'all that I had an amazing weekend. I closed out 15 years of ministry as the pastor, lead pastor of the Grace Community, Seventh-day Adventist Church here in Euclid, Ohio, just in the Cleveland area. I've been here for 15 years. My wife and I moved here in 2009. We moved in with her father. Long story. Lost our house in Nashville. Man, I'm telling you. And now we're leaving with more than what we came with. And I'm telling you, the whole journey has been nothing but a faith journey. The whole journey has been nothing but God moving beyond our wildest dreams, our expectations, not only in our lives personally, but moving in the church. And, for 15 years, what God has been doing is teaching me to actually believe the stuff that I preached about. For the past 15 years, my whole life has been a life of God trying to show me that faith is not something that you talk about. Faith is something that you live. And I want to go there this morning because I sense that many of you, like me, are in transition. Here I am, 47 years old. I got a doctoral degree. I got a master's degree. I've got a wife with a doctoral degree. I've got two children, both of them who are in college. We got debt. We got responsibilities. Like many of you, we are very normal people living normal lives. And we were getting very comfortable here, very sedentary. And then God says, out of nowhere, it's time to go. And the Lord's like, yo, I want you to pack up, quit your job, right? Resign from your career, right? And I want you to make your move, head south to Atlanta. And I want you to make that your headquarters for launching, for relaunching, revamping, reigniting this passion you have to help men to win in what matters. I'm not going to give you all the details. I'm not going to show you everything that I will do for you. You're not gonna have all the money. Everything is not going to be in place. I just need you to do what I'm telling you to do. The last time God told me to do that was when I came to Cleveland, Ohio, and He worked everything out for our good. And so I'm in transition. And I wonder, is there anybody who is watching this morning who finds yourself in a season of transition? Is there anybody here? Come on, let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up. Say, you talking to me. How many of you find yourself to be in a season of transition? Transition meaning that you are, matter of fact, let's look at what is the definition of transition? Because I want to talk about choosing a different set of risks. There are many of us right now who are in transition because we chose a different set of risks. Woo! We chose a different set of risks. How many of you are in transition? I want to know. Who am I talking to today? How many of you are in transition? What is transition? Transition is the process or a period of changing from one state or condition to another. Say that one more time. What is transition? It is the process or a period of changing from one state or condition to another. And so here's why I'm in transition. My bro said, been there. Here's why I'm in transition. And hopefully you will always be in some sort of state of transition because God has given me a huge vision for my life and not just for my life. Let me restate that. God has given me a huge vision for the lives of others. And it just happens to involve me. I think that's very important that your vision is really not all about you, but your vision often is about others. And so the vision is big enough where it scares me. God calls me and says, hey, quit your job. Now, here's what God said. He said, look, in order for you to effectively accomplish what I am calling you to accomplish, then this current version of you cannot go where I'm taking you. In other words, I need you to change and transform your thinking and the way that you behave so that it can become normal for where I'm taking you. Because the current Myron is definitely not what I am interested in maintaining. There are many of you who are your current, you think that you've arrived. You think that you're there. And guess what? I had kind of gotten there. I've accumulated education. I've accumulated money, resources, things of that nature. And God is literally like, I'm stripping that. And now I am going to put you in a position where you thought that you had arrived. You have not arrived. You have not even seen what I'm trying to do with your life. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to phase out that old season. And now I'm going to move you into a new season. This new season will be a season of transition. And what am I doing with you? I am taking you through a process or a period of changing from one state or condition to another. I want to say this because if you are in a season of transition, you need to hear what I'm saying. Transition often will cause you to feel that you are going backwards instead of going forward. You will feel crazy. You will feel inadequate. You will feel unprepared. Am I talking to anybody? You will feel like you're making the wrong decisions. You will feel vulnerable. You will not have many people to talk to about what you're going through because there are a lot of people who don't know about this season of transition, or at least they're not self-aware enough. You are going to try to explain what you're trying to do to people. And the more you explain it, it's going to sound stupid. Anybody feel me? You're going to listen. Has anybody ever been in transition and you're trying to explain, hey, like with me right now, people are always asking me, they're like, oh, okay, so you quit your job as a pastor, you have steady paycheck, blah, 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 blah. You're picking up and you're moving to Atlanta. Why are you going to Atlanta? Everybody's in Atlanta, blah, 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 blah. And then some people say, well, I get Atlanta, that's where Black entrepreneurs go, blah, blah, blah. But even still, people are like, well, why would you do that? All right. You're in one economy here, you're going to a different economy. I mean, and then they say, okay, well, what's your plan? What are you going to do? And honestly, I'm trying to explain, well, I plan on doing this. And what I'm doing, y'all, for men, going full time, basically in ministry to men. Most of my life, I've been in full-time ministry to a congregation and to a community. Now the Lord is saying, go after the most difficult population in the world. Go after the most difficult population in the world, men. And I know God spoke, so I'm in obedience. And I'm like, okay, I'm moving to Atlanta. I'm going to do what God said. And so I'm trying to explain to people what I'm doing. And I'll just be honest with y'all. The more I'm explaining it, the more ridiculous it sounds. I'm serious. Now, some people look at you, oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You're not living my life. And I'm telling you, I don't even see the plan. People are constantly asking, well, do you got a strategic plan? Have you laid out? I've written some stuff down and I've put as much detail as I can on it. But if I'm honest with you guys, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know all the details. And here's what I've discovered. You can plan till you are blue in the face. And God looks at your plans and he oftentimes laughs at your plans because he's like, they don't even see what I'm doing. They don't see the people that I'm going to connect them to. They don't see the hardship that they're getting ready to go through. They don't see that they may have to take some steps back in order to go forward. And I want to just encourage transition people this morning. This is not for everybody. For those of you who have arrived, God bless you. God bless all the people who've arrived, who think they've arrived. But if you serve God, God will always keep you in transition. And I thought it was interesting that we happen to be, when people celebrate resurrection, some call it Easter, I don't. It's the resurrection of our Lord, right? The resurrection was an act of transition. Did you all know that? Jesus Christ rising from the dead is no transition more than that. He goes down one way and comes up another way, and so do you. His act of dying on the cross, staying dead all day Saturday, and rising on Sunday initiated one of the greatest transitions ever, right? And I want to show you something real quick about this transition that a lot of us often miss in the scripture. So I want to show you something. I'll pass by this, but this is incredible stuff, because when Jesus said, "I'm going away," right? Let me remove this for a second. He's like, "I'm going away," right? Meaning I'm going to die. I'm going to be raised. He tells all his disciples, the disciples cannot handle the fact that the in-person Jesus will no longer be with them. They have grown accustomed to what they can see. Everybody follow me when I'm saying this, especially people in transition. A lot of times when you're in transition, God is trying to transition you away from what you can see, what you can understand, to taking you to a place of faith and what you cannot understand. Because what God wants to do in your life is so big that you can't see it and you can't understand it, right? So that's a part of the transition. The disciples could see Jesus. They walked with Jesus and they talked with Jesus. Now Jesus is dead and he promises he's going to rise again. They are messed up about this. They are in grief about this. Matter of fact, the women are on their way to his tomb to essentially do funeral rites, right? They're going to embalm his body. They have totally forgotten that he said he would rise again. Now, for those of you who are not religious, just follow this, because this still could help you as a person who's got big dreams, who's got big plans, who feels a sense of transition. There's some uncomfortableness happening with you right now. You kind of feel a pull in a different direction. You may be in a relationship that you're feeling, I need to transition out of this. You may be in a career. I need to transition out of this. You may be in a way of thinking, and God's trying to transition you out of it. Your health, whatever it is. Christ said to them, look, he literally said, look, me leaving is actually what you need. He said, it's better that I go away. I'm not being resurrected with all power to stay here with you. I'm being resurrected with all power to leave something in you that's better for you if I'm gone. Oh, this is amazing. God wants you to understand that trusting your eyesight is not the plan that he has for your life, because your eyesight's based on your experience, on what you feel like you can trust, on what limitations you have placed on your own life. And I love this. Listen to this. Romans 8:11 says, the Spirit of God who raised Jesus from the dead lives in you. Whoa. And just as God raised Christ Jesus from the dead, he will give life to your mortal bodies. And I love this. The same Spirit is living in you. And that's all I want to show you is that, and this is why Jesus was like, yo, it's better that I go away. He's like, I'm going to die. I'm going to be raised to life, and then I'm leaving. I need to leave. Leaving, you need this transition where you have been addicted to me physically being here. Now I want you to function without me being here. I need you to function without seeing me. I need you to function with understanding that everything I was doing, I was showing you what I'm getting ready to do in your life. And so literally Christ said, it's better that I leave, because if I leave, I'm going to send the Spirit. And when I send the Spirit, the same stuff I was doing, you're going to do. And guess what? You'll do greater things than me. Ooh, ooh. You'll do greater things than me. I don't know if anybody's tracking that. Somebody needs to speak over their own life this morning and say, greater is coming from me. Why? Because he promised it. I'm not lying to you. He said the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead. Yo, look, Christ was dead. All hell tried to keep him dead, tried to keep him in the grave, didn't want him getting up, bringing us out of death ourselves. Christ coming back from the dead was literally him rescuing us from death, freeing us from the penalty of sin, freeing us from the power of death, freeing us from the power of Satan, freeing us from all limitations. If he could beat death, what limits are there in your life? But guess what? He just didn't beat death for himself. What he did vicariously for you. In other words, in your place. When Christ beat death, you beat it, which means every limitation in your life, Christ has defeated that limitation. And notice this, it gets even better. He said the way that he beat it was because of the Spirit of God that raised him from the dead. And the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead is in you. He said, I'm leaving you something. He said, I'm leaving, but I'm leaving you something. And the transition is a transition from you being able to handle not seeing everything, right? Christ left and they no longer could see Jesus. But guess what? Christ inside of them was more powerful than Christ beside them. And that's the word that God has for y'all this morning. Look, God is trying to move you away from sight. You have not arrived. You're thinking too small. You're thinking way too small. You've gotten too comfortable. Get scared of comfort. Don't trust comfort. Don't trust, you know what I'm saying? Like thinking that you've arrived. The minute you think you've arrived, God is like, now it's time for a transition. And that's what's happening with me, y'all. 15 years of pastoring. Lord says, pack up your stuff, leave right now. Don't worry about your retirement, leave. Don't worry about the subsidies and benefits that you get from your job to take care of your kids' tuition. Get up and leave. You have no job. You're going to. I don't need a plan. I need obedience. And I'm telling you, many of us are looking for a plan when the plan is do what I told you to do. I'm about to leave, and I'm going to leave y'all by yourselves. Guess what? But you won't be by yourselves. It's going to be strange because you never had to function like this before. You're so used to having everything calculated and set up the way you like for it to be comfortable and set up. And, you know, this way I like my life and I want things like this. And the Lord is laughing at your plans. He's like, they are so addicted to my physical presence that they don't even know that I'm going to be better for them if I'm not physically present. Woo! Woo! Oh, y'all forgive me this morning. Whoa. Yeah. I don't need to be walking with you, baby. You don't need to see everything. You need to trust that I've left something inside of you that's greater than what you've been looking at. Go forward. Go forward. So let me drop this on you real quick and then I'm out, right? So I want to encourage those of you who are in transition like me. What kind of transition I'm in? I quit my job. Walked away. Why? God told me to. And what did he tell me to do? He said, you've been pastoring congregations. I want you to pastor men. The hardest population, Lord. How am I going to make a living doing that? He said, I didn't ask you for your opinion and I didn't ask you for your plans. I'm asking you for obedience. I'm asking you to trust me and get your butt up and grab your family and move when I say move. And I'm living it right now. I'm not the guy that's at the other end, you know what I'm saying, who's giving you the powerful testimony of how it all worked out. I am in the midst of living in transition. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying not to preach. So those of you in transition, you need to stop trusting your plans. Your plans are trash. Stop trusting your plans. Those of you in transition, stop counting on your plans to work out. I'm enjoying my own cooking for sure. Stop. Your plans are trash. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. You don't have to know how it's going to work out. Move forward. Straight up. Get up and move. Listen to this. I want you all, and this is from the book, Huge Square, a high velocity formula for multiplying your personal effectiveness in quantum leaps. How many want to make quantum leaps? Some of y'all just been making adjustments your whole life, been tweaking things, and God is like, I'm not trying to tweak nothing. I'm trying to change your life. Like I'm trying to do a exceedingly abundantly above all you can ever ask or imagine. Why? Stop settling for what you can, you know what I'm saying, what you can see. Stop it. That's why Jesus was like, look, I'm leaving. Because if I stay, y'all going to hell. Because y'all trust too much of what you can see. What I'm trying to do in you is going to be even bigger. All right, watch this. I need you to start choosing a different set of risks. Ooh. Did you hear what I said? I want you to start choosing a different set of risks. The biggest obstacle, listen, listen, I'm talking to you, whoever just came on. This is a word for you. The biggest obstacle to overcoming the odds is never challenging them. The biggest obstacle to overcoming the odds is you never challenge the odds. You accept the odds. You accept the limitations. As a matter of fact, you worship the limitations. You glorify the limitations. You accentuate the limitations. You are always obsessed with the limitations. And that's one of the biggest challenges that we have. Now watch this. The risks, watch this. The risks hit you as rather apparent and may be quite threatening. Has anybody ever felt like that? I know I do feel like that right now, but you must stack them up against the hidden risks you accept when you decide to live with the status quo. Oh. Did y'all know that it's more risky to stay status quo than it is to step out on faith? Yo, did you think that you're not taking risks by stepping out, by avoiding stepping out on faith, but you're actually taking more risks by doing nothing and staying status quo. Yo, listen. Oh man, listen. I need you. Ask yourself what you're risking if you don't go in faith. The risk that you won't get what you really want out of life. Oh God. Yo, man. The biggest risk that some of us are taking is not taking action, not doing anything, being afraid and counting the cost too much. Get up and do the doggone thing. Do it. Look, can I share this one thing? You got to understand, this is from the book U Squared. You got to understand that you can never escape risk. It's not something that you can decide to live with or without. Something is always at stake, and you can only decide which risks to take. So listen to this. Whether you choose to go for the quantum leap or for the step in faith or follow your usual routines, you are putting something on the line. You got to put something on the line. Watch this. Come on. So choose carefully and don't kid yourself with the idea that playing it safe by living with the status quo gives you the best odds. That may be the surest way of losing. Man, let me tell you something. Let me ask you something. Y'all not challenging the odds. This is not, listen, let me rephrase this. Listen. Those of you who are in transition, you feel like God is calling you out into, a different space where you can't see him the way you've used to been seeing him, but you're kind of walking blind. Watch this. It says this. It says, oh, wow, this is good. I'm talking to myself. The risk is that you will settle for only a fraction of what life God has for you. Oh, man. Some of us have settled for a life that God never intended for us. God had more. Wouldn't it suck? Like if you lived and died and God had more for you, the life that you actually wanted to live, but you never stepped out in faith. And so you never saw it, bro. Listen. And because of that, he says, this isn't a case of taking a big chance. Many of us think I'm taking a big chance. I'm scared. I can't do it, Myron. It's too much. Like look, I got you. I've been working 15 years here. My last check is coming at the end of this month. It's all me after that, y'all. It's all God for real. But watch this. You're not taking a big chance. It's a matter, I'm giving God a chance. Woo! It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable, y'all. It's okay to learn something new. It's okay to pivot. Listen, Jesus like, I'm leaving. And they tripping. And he like, didn't I tell you, but if I leave, that's the only way greater is going to happen. See, many of us need that thing in our life to physically go away so that the spiritual reality of what God wants to do becomes more apparent to our sight. We don't walk by faith. We walk by sight. That's how most of us do. But listen, it's time to start walking by faith and not by sight. Anyway, oh man, I'm filled with this stuff, man. Shout out to everybody this morning. God bless you. Yep, I see you, Brandy. God got you. God got all of us, man. He got all of us, and he laughing at us because we scared. So listen, coming to Atlanta this weekend for our men's conference, the Winning in What Matters, Winning Circle Conference. And God already told me this conference is going to be a catapulting conference. It's going to be a trampoline for many men that are in transition, that feel God is taking them to a different space. So I don't know if who you are, where you're from, what your schedule is, but you need to get to Atlanta. Again, if you can't get there physically, you could absolutely, positively watch online. We have a virtual pass, and it is at the website, winningscircleconference.com. Go and register today to make sure that you are present. This is a conference for men that want to win. And look, you ain't going to come here to this conference and leave, you know what I'm saying, without some wins. The W's will be coming because you got all these men that are coming for the same thing that you're coming for. And I'm telling you, last year, it was like a bomb dropped off in the room, bro. Bomb went off, dudes. And I'm telling you the stories and testimonies afterwards of what God was doing. Additionally, we want to create a generation, and I'm partnering with Joseph and Wange on this. We want to create a generation of Black male millionaires with a mission. You heard what I said. We need some more men to be financially well off with a mission, not for themselves, but to serve others. And I'm telling you, this is the conference where you need to be to start winning in every area: spiritually, health, financially, intellect, integrity, career, profession, business, dreams, family, a community. Get to the website today, register to be a part. Again, winningscircleconference.com. We will see you in Atlanta. If you can't come, my recommendation to you is to get the virtual pass. The virtual pass is now live at our website. Go to winningscircleconference.com. God bless you all.